Good afternoon, everybody. English Without Borders Network is excited to continue Wednesday series of the English Without Borders Chai Talk with outstanding people who make a great contribution to the development of culture and education in the country. And today we are very happy to host our next speaker, Rano Muhibulloevna. Everybody probably knows her, and I would like just to introduce her briefly. Rano Muhibulloevna Dadojonova was born in Baghdad, Tajikistan. She graduated from Pedagogical University in 2002, and she has worked in many international organizations. Currently, she is working as a project manager at the National Union of People with Disabilities of Tajikistan, and she works there on a volunteer basis as her heart is delighted to work with people with disabilities. Moreover, Rano is an educator in inclusive education, and she promotes inclusive education to make Tajik society more inclusive by giving the opportunity to children with disabilities to be educated. She believes that inclusive education should involve the full inclusion of all children and no child should be segregated. Rano is trying to include all children to be involved in all aspects of learning. And she's confident that by educating children, we give them the opportunity to a better life. Rano is also head of Department of Republic of Scientific's Clinical Center of Pediatrics and Infant Surgery of Republic of Tajikistan. She is doing research in early child development and promotes the social behavior change toward the better health and nutrition of the infants and small children in the country. She is a development expert with extensive experience in social science and cultural research, nonprofit advocacy, who seeks to make a difference by improving public health and socioeconomic well-being of children and families in Tajikistan. Rano is an active USG alumna and she is married and has 3 children. Welcome, Rano John. So happy to see you.
Thank you, Ms. Pujan.
Thank you very much for coming to our office and participating in English Without Borders Chai Talk. So maybe just it would be good if you just briefly tell about yourself and make yourself quite recognizable for many people.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ms. Pujan. I guess you already mentioned everything about myself, but maybe I will be more want to introduce because people knows me only through the social network, but maybe some of them will be interested to know about me more in detail. So yes, I am Rano from the village. I was a village girl, grew up in the village. So yes, my childhood was in Baghdad city. It was in the Civil War times, and it was very difficult times when we are growing. And I was a sheep herder, and I love this job most of all in village, and it was my favorite job during my childhood. Also, I was grew up in the worker family. My parents was worker. My father worked for the governmental officials. My mother worked as a nursing, and they give me a good education. We was 4 children in the family. I have 2 brothers, one only sister, who is always support me, and also I'm married, as you said, and I have 3 children. I have 2 sons and only daughter. My eldest son is a student. My 2 junior are the school children. Yes. What else? This is all about me. I'm using the social network usually for promotion the disability rights and promoting the how to make our society, Tajik society, more inclusive, to make people understand that all people is equal, and we have to give to all people equal rights on equal opportunities. This
Yeah.
is all about me.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So we know that your first your first diploma was in English, right? So
Yes.
you know English, and it would be good if you share how knowledge of English has helped you in your career.
Yes, good questions. English, of course, it is a great opportunity for girls like me from villages, from rural area, and at all. It is a great opportunity to better life because I remember I learned English in my 11th grade, start to learn because I was very cheerful child, and sometimes I remember my teacher in school. He was very intelligent and he was very passionate teacher. His name was Uyatchoyev, and he always said, "You are not look like your parents. You are not look like your sister. Why are you so cheerful? And why are you not learning well?" I said, this is very difficult to learn English. It was really difficult to learn English for me at that time because I don't know. I could not pronounce some words. It was difficult for me. But in the 11th grade, I recognize that it is very important for me to learn English because I understood that it is necessary for me if I want to travel around the world. It is the first necessary thing that I have to have should be English language. So from the April of the graduation year, I started to learn English. It was very short time to learn, but I did it. And I entered to university by myself. I got a higher marks in the university, and I entered by myself. My father was proud of me because I learned it hard. It was like, I sleep, I dream, and I speak in English. My sister said, "Stop talking in English. I want to sleep." And I said, "Oh no, I talk in English." She said, "Yes, you're always talking in English in your dream." So yes, what it helped me. English helps me to go by career very well because I was a part of the big projects. I was a part of the amazing research that for the importance of English, and knowing the English was very important because the all research materials was in English, and I translated in Tajik, and not to to translate it in correct version needed required a lot of work.
Not to lose the meaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was that transferring all the meaning of these questions to the dialect Tajik, it was really difficult sometimes. But yes, I did it. So another thing that was I'm very lucky that I was nominated to EWB program. And one of the requirements of this program is to know the knowledge of the English. And in 2016, I was nominated to this program by the US Embassy. I'm really thankful for these guys who nominated me because this program really changed my life, my mind, my heart toward the people with disabilities. And maybe this program was the first step that I started to work hard in the disability areas. And I got a lot of things during EWB journey about the inclusive education, about the accessibility, about everything that related to the disability issues. So yes, English helps me nowadays because yes, I'm still working in international organization and teaching students in English, writing project in English, trying to find out the resources to developing the disability area here in Tajikistan, and also the the most advantage is I have a lot of friends around the globe, and I'm talking and I'm communicating with them in English.
Yeah, kind of linking yourself with professionals who are doing the same research on a global scale. Great. Okay. So just going back to your childhood. So when you did first realize that you want to become an educator?
Honestly, it was my childhood dream to become a teacher, because all the children want to be a teacher at that time, or doctor or teachers. And my family they want to sort of see me as a doctor, but I dreamed to become a teacher because I have a good communication skills and I'm talking a lot. Sometimes my husband joking, if I'm keeping silent, he say, "Hey, are you okay? Why are you keep silent?
Is something wrong with you?
Are you okay? Are you okay?" I said, "Yes, I'm okay. Why do you keep silent?" I said, "No, I'm okay."
Yeah.
So I like to talk with the people. It was my childhood dream. I come to enter into university by myself. It was my choice. My dad wants that I became a doctor. He asked me, maybe we'll go to the medical university. He several times asked me, maybe we'll go. And I said, no, Dad, I will go to Pedagogical University and I will be a teacher of English language. And I was proud to be, because it was one of the prestige professions at that time. Yes.
So you realized
it was from the childhood time, and I understand it maybe in the fifth grade or sixth grade that I will be a teacher. And of course, I teach 10 years. I started my teaching career from the third grade of the university. When it was our first practice in the schools, I loved to work with the kids because they come with so many enthusiasm to like learn English, new words, and we have a lot of integrated games. So I love to work with them. So I started my first job in my third grade as a teacher of English in school number 88, Dushanbe City. Yes. So after 10 years, it was a lot of experience teaching English. And the second school that I worked, it was after graduating the university. I get a direction to the 30 school number 30 in Dushanbe City, and it was in one of the corner of the Dushanbe, and the most children studied there was from the rural areas. The child who was from the refugees, and of course there was a very smart and funny children, but also the ill-mannered children as well. It was very hard to work, but I love to work with them. I organized, the school was very old, but my class was very, shiny, because I did a repair in my class. First of all, I did
renovation.
And I bring the leaf corner of the nature to my class. And always I saw that my students have a desire to come to my classes and to have a lot of wishes to come to my classes. But after giving birth a child, I have a kid, and I understand that I need for my child, and I stay with him. And yes.
So you stayed during your maternity leave and gave your full attention to your children.
But during this, my students from these schools coming to visit me, coming to talk, coming to chat like this, and I still remember some of them.
Great. So generally speaking, like you mentioned, some people in your life who just motivated you to be an educator, the first teacher, and in terms of being an educator, who mostly influenced like your choice to be an educator? Because you were a teacher and then you also became an educator, right?
Yes, as I mentioned it, it was very short time
Mhm.
that I have learned English. It was maybe 2 or 3 months,
Mhm.
because it was very short time. In 3 months, I have to be prepared to enter to university.
Mm.
And I have another teacher. His name is Firuza Kulieva.
Mhm.
She is amazing person. She was incredible teacher.
Mhm.
She was a mom of 6 children. She gave birth twice at twins.
Mm.
And she said, "No, I will not teach you. I am busy. I cannot do like." I said, "No, I will. I want to teach." But because she was our neighbor,
Mhm.
like, and she said, "You are cheerful. You are spoiled child, and I'm not sure that you can get it." I said, "No, I promise you.
Mhm.
Let's start today." I said, "Okay, come with me." And we never sat and do some lesson on the table, like using the books. I'm always was behind her and doing something with her. She comes and just talk with English with me. She not use any Tajik word, and it was very difficult for me because I never learned English well. So, but she so inspired me that I started to understand English, yeah, by myself, because she speaks very well. Her pronunciation was like a native, language, like native speakers.
Yeah.
And she always give me some, life skills. She said, after the 2 or 3 weeks, she said, "Oh, you're strong. You are well enough." I said,
So you didn't run away, yeah?
Yes.
You stayed.
yes. And she said, "Okay, let's go on." And of course, I help her around the household works and help with her with child. She was really amazing person because she gave me a lot of confidence. She said always, "You can do it. You can do it. You should work. You should try." If sometimes I can't very tired because I have a lot of responsibility at home, come to any no preparation, she give me another additional. I said, "No, I'm still have to do this." She every day gives me 50 new words and ask me, learning till the tomorrow. If no, I will not work with you. I would like zombie and going and doing this. And it was really good for me. It works very well for me. So she's the person who motivated me, who inspired me to learn English, to become an educator that gives to the students a big like hope, a big desire to learn, to work on ourselves. She motivated me to be confident. She motivated me to work on myself. She said, "You can do this. You can do this. Just do it."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. So, like, in many cases, when we see the career development of some outstanding people, we can see that they have great teachers, because great teachers, they usually motivate, and inspire the disciples to be better, to become better, and also just they shape not only their kind of language, but also they shape their leadership skills, and also they shape their character, which is very important. So and in your case, like you had really great teachers, who just also just kind of inspired you and just gradually just transformed you into a better version of yourself, as we can see today.
Of course, there was the hard work of my parents due to their like motivation, thanks to a lot, thanks to their dua. They give me a chance to get education. Of course, they have a big risk to lose me that time, because it was a civil war time, and they always said me, "Be careful, be careful." There was war in the street when we are going and back from the university. My father was always like scared when I am coming back, come back home late or like this. He's always go with me or come back with me together.
He was worried about you,
and they like their motivation, their inspiring has a great place in my education
Great
and
support
also
for
in my
you.
life, of
Yeah.
course. Same for my parents. I get who I am now.
Yeah. So thank you very much for sharing like your childhood remembrance and like, sharing your great teacher examples. So as I remember, you worked with micro access program, right? And you have taught English to children with disabilities, yeah? And so, and I know that, a number of social media also covered, yeah, at that time of the project, and also they highlighted. So can you share some of the success stories and lessons learned during your micro access program? And also just, it would be really nice to know about the life of those heroes or heroes, about whom you highlighted, because during the social media time it's kind of going boost, but also just it's very nice to know what's happening with their life, in their life. And dear participants, please use this chance, write your questions in the comment box on Facebook, so we'll pass them to Rano as well. Okay, so
use your chance. Joking.
Okay.
Yes, I'm still working with access program. It is amazing. The name of the access already give out the access to education. When I heard it the first time, I thinking access, that means that access to education. So I have to use this opportunity to give the child with disabilities. And I was the first initiative of this saying that it was the first time for the history of Tajikistan for the access program that we did it inclusive. We did access inclusive project. Of course, it was a big problem. We have a lot of lesson learned. Thing, it was a headache. But nowadays we have a great chance results from this program. The first group of the access program graduated in 2018, 2020. Of course, these guys faced with pandemic as well, and faced with a lot of problems because of the digital issues. Like most of them do not understand, and most of them has no opportunity to get smartphone because most of them come from their very poor families who have no like that. So there was a lot of things that needed to be worked because we have a lot of the problems with teachers, with the students, because inclusive education needed special requirements. It is not other education because there is some approach that are responsible to the needed of the students. So there is a lot of success stories. What of them I have to share, I don't know, because in social media, you saw some of them. Maybe you saw about the Mirzo Midin, who is a great painter now. I remember he comes to the interview when we are doing interview with the US Embassy staff. He was very shy. He was not confident. He said, oh yes, because I know he's from childhood, and he comes and say he talks a very small. His brother also, and another boy who comes from the Garam district. He has some spina bifida and other disabilities, and he was not sure that he will finish this program. But teachers did a great job, in spite that have no any experience in inclusive education. It was the first time for the inclusive approach of the program, but we get a success a lot. So one of them is name of the students, of course, a lot of the students. So there was success in digital area, there's a success in art, and some of them get get involved in some big projects. So yes, access open them a lot of things, open new doors, because now some of them implementing already the project that was written by them. They already writing the project on disabilities, and they were involved in big events. They was involved in awareness campaign. Now they have enough skills to be independent and working independent in all the spheres. In spite of their disabilities, I always tried to involve them to the community like services. I remember them that one day when we are doing clean up day around the Sultani Kabir market, and guys with a disability comes with them. Comes to cleaning up around, and if we're all there, market said, "What are you doing? You're disabled. You cannot do this thing." And my student said, "You do a lot of dirty here. Now we have to clean it." Of course, it was a good lesson for them, and we are doing it regularly. But unfortunately, nowadays we are online learning. We will the online teaching, but it is giving them also another opportunities or advantages to be more educated or to be more informed in digital
to learn new skills.
New skills, of course. So yes, I think that a lot of success. I hope that someday they come to share their success by themselves, because they speak in English, and access also as a English without border. I mean, access should be without border for everyone, because I'm always asking our colleagues from the areas that please make it inclusive. Just choose one day student with a disability. You'll see how it will work well. It's not only for children with disability, not only give benefit for children with disability or teenagers. It gives also to the another students, because they learn it to be tolerant. They learn it to be
compassionate,
patient, and another thing. So inclusive education has a lot of benefits, and I think that all the courses, all the schools should be inclusive.
The micro access program just within it's kind of like a first step that you try to make this kind of classes of English inclusive by including students with disabilities. And I remember that on Facebook there were a number of short videos like where you highlighted the progress of those children, and so you also tried to make them kind of a role models, so other children with disability or youth with disability could follow their steps and also be part of this process, be part of this project, right? Okay. So and how far you have moved in this direction? Let's say after just highlighting those videos where you just showcase, those youth with disabilities. I remember there was a family, a story about the family having 3 kids with disabilities, and right after you showcased that, how it's, did you have any kind of feedback, or just have you been approached by many other families who also just need that kind of project, and who could be who could benefit from this project?
Yes, we have a lot of projects where we involve with the families who are living with more than 2 children with disabilities. So one of them that you are mentioning now, it's about the third brothers. There are 4 children in one, and one of them is without disability, and 3 of them is with disability. These guys really talented. One of them is painter, another is accountant. The third one is a good accountant too. She's the elder sister is accountant, and the second is also accountant, and the third is in art. So after this project, after these videos, of course they get a lot of benefits. People understand, recognized them, they started to talk and communicate with them as a normal people. And some of them get support to educate them. And I know that soon one or the guy who has a painting skills, he will be represent, or like he will be organize his first exhibition of his paintings, of his works. So it was supported by one of the people who was in my friends list. So it
We just
them.
watched and got
Yes,
impressed.
And I'm very happy that Facebook helped me to
social media helped.
And of course, it is taken a lot of time to be in social media and to work and to go to home and do this. But I'm very happy that these posts, people watching, reading, and sometimes contacting or writing me that how can I reach these guys, and how can support, or how can we work with them. Of course, I give it directly to this contact of the family and explain every details that they needed. So yeah,
it's good. Yeah, like through social media, you are making the family more close to the community and kind of like helping them to be part of the community, right? Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we can talk about this because I really was so impressed by all those videos. And to be honest, like I'm familiar with disability issues in Tajikistan, but nevertheless, we need such kind of motivational videos and kind of documentaries, uh, to kind of to shift the paradigms, of people that disability is not inability. So there are so many disabled people, but at the same time they have a number of wonderful abilities they can use.
And this website was the first time for the Central Asia, and it was in 3 languages: English, Tajik, and Russian. And it is a serial of the website web serials that show the communication with the people with different disabilities or different abilities. Like there was a film about the blind, about the deaf teacher, how he's teaching, and another is about the talent blind singer, and also other disabilities that we take into consideration when we are creating these movies.
So you're working closely with journalists, with reporters, who just help you to make all this visible and also just to make this publicized, right? Okay, great. So I know that you're working on creating pedagogical materials as well. So, and you have a number of projects on that. So, and they are mainly focused on inclusive education. You just could tell more about your projects that you are creating something, and also maybe just some documents, materials that could also promote inclusive education in Tajikistan. So that would be great.
Education is a right, and inclusive education is a right to
double right.
Yes, right. So the inclusive education is mentioned in the Convention of Right Persons with Disability, which is signed in 2018 by government of Tajikistan. So another document that is giving like the power is the constitution of the Tajikistan. That each person, despite of his situation, like social status or other things, have right to be educated, and children with disability is included. Another document is about the development strategy 2030. Also said that inclusive education should be taken into consideration in all the education system. Also, now I'm working with a working group on the concept of the inclusive education, which is developing for 2021 and 2025. So it's still developing. And also, Well, the most important, I think, that is the article of 24 article of the Convention of the Right of Persons with Disability, that saying that each child, including the child with disability, uh, with no discrimination, has to be included in the education. They have to go to mainstream schools, equal with to get equal education, equal opportunities, and to have an chance to get an education with all of the members of the, with other children. So no segregation, no discrimination should be toward the children with disabilities. And now I am working on the project that want to develop the sign language project for the children, deaf children.
Wow.
Because we have no specialists maybe, and no persons who know the sign language. The sign language is a wide as well, because it is American Sign Language, there is international sign language, there is all the language, all the language is used by all the countries, for example, German, Russian, and Chinese. They are different. But
so they are using their own, yeah?
Yes,
their own.
Yes, each country language. Using their own. That's why I'm trying to get to implement the project where I can teach the deaf children to the international sign language, because it gives them again the great opportunity to be involved to applying for the international programs, because they are now isolated really in Tajikistan, and it is very difficult for them to apply to international programs. That's why it is one of the priority projects that I wanted to work on it. And another thing about the blind children as well. We have a lot of specialists on teaching English in on the schools where like study the blind children, but also there is no resources like teaching material, necessary technology for them, and also the necessary tools to getting, because they learning English, learning through the braille and by hearing. So this is another project that I am now developing and want to share if someone wants to work with me. So the most important projects that I want to get on, it is to organize and creating independent living center where all these courses, all these courses for getting life skills, getting language skills, and other things that are very important for developing personal development of the people with disability is necessary. I learned about the Independent Living Center in the Berkeley in California during my IWP journey.
Wow.
And it was my dream to organize and create such an independent living center. I applied for some grant to this, but it was failed. But I will do my best to get it.
So persistence is important, right? So and do you have any models that you have kind of observed during your IDLP program, like that you think that could be very good for the context of Tajikistan, like as creating of the center which you mentioned? Do you have any models like in your mind that work well for Tajikistan?
Yes, of course it will be adopted and appropriate for Tajikistan. There is a big centers, and in each state in United States, I taught the Independent Living Center for people with disabilities. and it was organized but created by the person with disability. And it is like a center where give equal opportunity. This center can be not only for people with disability, it can be for all. It will be created by universal design. You know, it should be created by the way that each person comes and get their advantage or get a benefit from this centers. So, but of course, we will take into consideration all the cultural values, all the we will appropriate things to the Tajikistan.
So it means just a center which take into consideration the needs of all the community members and still is open to all. So it means like, you know, they built this center and they are part of this center and they also contribute to this center.
I would like to share this secret. It's already built, and we have already the building where it was built by universal design, but it's still needed for some reconstruction things, because it should be adapted for the old people, not for wheelchairs. It should be adapted for blind people, for hearing impairment people, and also for the elder people who want to get these services. Like maybe some people come after the pension. They come to just learn to dancing or just come to learn getting skills on technology. Like for everyone, it will be a center for all.
That's good. But because like I have also just kind of read about some centers. For example, in many countries they call it different, like community learning center. In some countries it's called like, you know, community-based center, which means like, you know, the members of the community part of that. So that's very good. And we would like to see in a couple of years like what has happened and what are some progress or some kind of movement you are doing in this direction. And Rano John, we have just also questions from our participants. So the question is, could you please in 3 words describe inclusive education? 3 words that comprehensively embrace inclusive education.
Inclusive education is inclusive for all.
3 words. Inclusive for all.
For all. Because I just want to clarify that it's really for all. It should be response to all the requirements that have each child or each student.
Each member
of the society. And it is not to thinking something a big deals. It is just we have to pass some ways that teach specialists to work with the teachers. So yes, education for all.
Education
and all the children should be study in one place, not segregation. It should be inclusive.
Inclusive. So even the children with disability or with some other minorities, they can be part of it. Thank you very much. Now, next question. What are the universal challenges in inclusive education? So probably we will mostly tell about universal challenges and maybe also just link it to the Tajikistan. Because I know that there are so many obstacles. We could mention.
There's a lot of challenges. There's no accessibility to teach to school.
So we are talking in Tajikistan, not the universal, but Tajikistan. Okay.
In Tajikistan, most schools is built in Soviet Union times, and the children with disability was segregated in institutions, special institutions. That's why that time was not taken into consideration the ability, how the children with disability moving to the classes, to around the school. The big challenge, the first challenge is the accessible environment. And the second is the specialist. Mostly just afraid to work with a child with
because
disability.
they don't know.
Yeah. And communication also. Most of the parents are afraid to work with children with disability. And this is a problem and a problem of the inclusive education. That we have no specialists enough. We have no accessible environment in all the mainstream schools.
And
Fortunately, the last years, the new building becoming more accessible, and it was already by the law that all the administration building, all the living buildings, all the buildings should be accessible, and should be built by universal design. Also. So
that's very interesting because I remember that the organization we are working for, Union of
National Union of Persons with Disability.
I read that they are also just involved in the monitoring, of all the buildings, which are being used and being built and they're giving to use, for by public, by state or public, or private organizations. And can you tell about the progress in these monitoring? What has improved, or what kind of lagging behind? What is lagging behind?
Yes, sure. We have a monitoring group who are traveling around the Tajikistan. It is rate around the construction companies who are building the new buildings. So they are rating how the buildings is requiring to the needs of persons with disability. And of course, our organization giving them recommendations first time. The second time is recommendation, and third one we can report to the government and to write. Our organization very closely work with governmental officials, with the Committee of Construction and Architecture. And also we have a lot of support from the presidential office and also other official governmental officials.
So and what is the progress like? How many buildings have been kind of given some kind of remarks, to change something and to make it more accessible to the needs of people with disability?
The building that is building now, most of them try to do it accessible, but sometimes, of course, we getting some not appropriate, not how to say built it correct, and some of them trying to change during the construction. That's why we are trying to come the buildings construction companies who are just started to building
from the very beginning.
That's why. Or when they inviting they not doing anything and they asking come to show us and we will do as unity. And now it's doing around the Tajikistan in rural areas, because in Dushanbe we have some accessibility, but in rural areas there is no accessibility to mainstream schools, to the kindergartens or like this. But nowadays it became the certain number, or how to say the results, because they have to show it in maybe another way, because our head of the organization, knows about this better, because he has a disability and he assessed this monitor process well.
Thank you, Ramajan. So we have next question. How feasible is it to embrace all in one system in terms of resources? Do they use the same resources? Maybe the person is referring to inclusive education, and if you could reply to this question, that would be great.
Yes, it is the same, but it should be response to the need of the each child. In inclusive education should be taken into consideration all the ability of the all children. For example, some of children, even without disability, cannot to write well. And some of them cannot to hear it or not be attentive. And the same with the children with disabilities. They have has just another ability, and they sometimes they can do everything that as a or the other children, but sometimes they can be maybe want to sleep, or maybe they just want to go out, and maybe some of them just funny or smart, but it not be like segregated or like it is the same resources, but here it should be more adaptive resources, like it should be response to the needed, how the baby sorry how the student want to like study. And the approach, inclusive education approach, is very wide, but it is very simple to use. It depends on the teacher's experiences. It depends on the teacher's ability and skills, because it is more looks like individual work, but working in group. So using the same resources, using the same thing. But of course, some of the requirements or some needs, like for deaf child or for the blind, there should be material that is appropriate for them. For example, new technology should be in the classes for the hearing impairing child. For example, a lot of children in the classes is sight impairment. They cannot proceed in the back of the classes. They should come too close to the teacher. Deaf children should be come too close to the teacher, so they can hear teacher well. Or the blind or sight impairment teacher student should come to close to blackboard.
Or even the wheelchair, right? There should be some space.
Wide space. It should be wide space, and it should be better if they sit in circle, not in behind each other. And it will be like
creating
So
that's great. Like, I mean, just we can talk for hours about that, and like our audience, will
yes,
learn
it's not
more.
enough 1 hour to talk about the inclusive education. I know that many people want to know about it, and I'm always ready to connect, to work together to make it better for all.
And before just we conclude our program, so just the last question: what do you think makes a good educator, and what do you recommend to young educators?
Good question. Love kids and love your job. Because when you're working with a love, or when you are doing this everything, not with teaching, not only when you're doing this with a big desire, with a enthusiasm, not only for getting salary or just earning, you have to work hard to get more and to be in front of all of them, in all or other people. You should be come with a new and innovation ideas to like to be leader in this sphere. And there is nothing to add that love and passion and acceptance, maybe a good communication. A very important aspect of the teaching is a good communication. When you're talking with a child, you should talk with as a person, not with a kid who like, oh, you cannot do this. You have always to make him, you have to motivate them, to inspire them, to make them confident. So kids will copy you, or they will always want to be near you. So I really want that young generation or young teachers work with love, work with children, loving children, because there's no child, like no strange child. all children is own child.
Unique.
Yeah.
Unique. And
So that's why I think that my recommendation, my advice to teachers, to love their job first of all, and to love to work with the kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, and just to resume, you can say like, I found this quote and it says like, teachers have three loves, love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the two loves together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, yeah, very good. Just,
Yeah.
I really like it. And yeah, so yeah, thank you very much, Rano John, for a
You're
wonderful,
welcome. Thank you for
nice
you.
chai talk. So I hope that, yeah, our audience learned
Thank you.
about your experience, learned about the project you are doing, and using this moment, we would like to wish you a
Thank
big
you.
success and
Thank
in
you.
your endeavors, and also just we are looking forward to have more opportunities
Thank you.
to have a good conversation with you,
Yeah,
and
sure.
also to highlight your progress in the field of inclusive education. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Bajon,
Thank
that
you very much.
invited me and gave me this chance to share my experiences and share my own like deals my own opinion through the other people who want to be involved in inclusive education, who are interested in disability areas. And I want to say you that I'm always ready to work with each of you who want to be who want to develop who want to work to developing the disability areas, or who want to develop projects that make better life for people with disabilities. And I'm always ready to help, to support, to advise, or what else I can help with it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me remind once again, today we had a nice chai talk with Rano Muhibulloevna, who's the project manager at the National Union of People with Disabilities. So yeah, you can watch this chai talk afterwards or later on, and you can leave your question with the comment box. So next time we will invite Rano again.
Yeah, please leave your questions or comments under this video, and I will be able to respond them as I will be at home.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rano.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rajan.
Yeah, have a
Bye-bye.
good evening, everybody. Bye-bye.